Jesus' name, we thank you for this beautiful gift us and the opportunity for us to have a class today and talk about how to not only figure out what the source of our problems are, but more importantly, the source of the solution, and that you offer to set us free so that we can begin to experience peace in our lives rather than feeling stuck or frustrated or overwhelmed. In Jesus' name. All right. So we are looking at five. I did it again. Lesson 5. Keep that to that last one too, because mine says day. It's lesson 5, which is the final lesson in the introductory section, which means that our next class we're going to start looking at finally the first lie, and it'll be a little bit different class because of that. But for the last one, the introduction. So lesson 1 in our introduction was about laying the foundation of the truth and the power of the truth. Right? Truth is a person whose name is Jesus. Okay. And we can't set ourselves free. We would have done it by now. And reformation versus transformation. Did anybody memorize that yet? 3 differences? Sandy?
No.
I'm going to put you on the spot. All right. Reformation is what we do. Transformation is what God does. Reformation is from the
inside out. Outside.
Did the clue wrong. Outside in. Transformation is the inside out. That's what God does. We can't do the inside. We can only do the outside. The inside. And because of all this, reformation is temporary, and transformation is permanent. You can either experience reformation, which is based on your motivation and external factors, therefore is temporary, or experience transformation, which is what God does, is permanent, is based on what's in you, what's outside of you, so you never have to worry about going back. And that's what we want. That's our goal, and that comes through complete surrender to our relationship with God and pursuing Him. And so we talked about that in lesson 1. Lesson 2, all right, this is who Jesus is. Now we look at, okay, here's how the devil operates and how deception comes at us. Where do the lies get their power? Where do the lies get their power? The lies themselves do not contain any power. We give them power. Because we want to believe them. Right? We want to believe that we can sin and get away with it. We want to believe that we can make stupid choices and have really good consequences. And that nothing will ever go wrong, even if we're just doing this stupid thing, that stupid thing, whatever. I mean, why would anybody overeat unless they thought they could do it and not fat after? But how do you feel about overeat after? And then looking back and saying, man, that was stupid. I shouldn't have said that or thought that or done that. But at the time, you wanted to believe it, so you did it, right? And that's our problem. We want to believe it's true, so we just do it, and we find out it's true. So another aspect of the lies having their power is there's an element of truth in every lie, which is why it's dangerous if you don't know the truth. Because if you don't know all the truth, you're not going to recognize the lie. And when there is a little bit of truth in there, you're going to zero in on it. Then that must be okay. It must be good. And so every lie contains a bit of truth. You got to saturate yourself with the truth to be able to determine what's a lie. You spend the rest of your life studying all the lies that are in the world, all the deception that's in the world, and you never get to the end of it. There's always new and different ways that are constantly coming at us of deception and lies. So rather than studying what's wrong, we study what's right, and then we'll recognize what's wrong. Because the truth doesn't change. The lie changes, the deception changes, the truth doesn't change. Lesson 3 was about opening your eyes to deception and the impacts in your life, and learning to make drastic changes in your life so that you're not opening yourself up unnecessarily to deception, right? Because if you're living passively, then whatever's going to come at you is going to be instead. We've got to live very carefully. We have to be proactive, and we have to live in a consistent, determined pursuit of Christ. We got to stop looking on instant gratification and what's easy and comfortable, and instead, we've got to start looking at what's right. What's wrong with something, but what's right with something. Not feel better, but get And then in our last lesson, we talked about the progression of how we kind of sink to the you're moving one direction or the other. You're either moving forward or backwards, up or down. And so we looked at this process of 4 steps of how we end up in bondage. You remember what the 4 steps are? First one is listening to the lie. The second is dwelling on it, mulling it over. And once you start thinking about it, you start believing it. Once you believe something, then you act on it. Exactly. And then we also looked at Psalm 1, and we looked at a progression of how if you're not actively pursuing a relationship with God, His perspective in your life, you're going to descend into this bottom corner, which was the mock and God, where we end up going, not only just being around those people, but identifying with those people, going where they're found, and indulging in sinful, horrible behaviors. Because, how does that happen? It's accidentally, because we're not paying attention to the fact that we're living life based on common sense. And when you live based on what feels right, rather than what is right, when you live based on common sense, what God is called or says to in His Word, then that's an inevitable result. You're not going to be able to maintain the godless part. It always goes down from there. So that's the contrast. Let's talk about David and Bathsheba. How one little decision, one decision, one instance of saying what's wrong with it instead of what's right with it, can lead you to a place you never thought you'd be. And that's with David. And then with the final thing that we said was that belief always produces behavior. So if you believe a lie, it's going to produce sinful behavior. Sinful behavior always produces bondage. This is always how it works. Okay? So if you're experiencing bondage in your life, why? Sinful behavior. Why sinful behavior? Because you're believing a lie. Because if you believe the truth, you would be being obedient to God. Okay? And then you would be experiencing freedom, which is the opposite of all that. So if you want to experience freedom, you got to be obedient. If you want to be obedient, you got to believe in God. The truth. So that's why we're going to spend all this time talking, and that's the goal. Today we're looking at specifically how to claim the truth, identifying areas of bondage in your life, and then how to overcome that bondage. How do you do it? We talked about how you get down in the hole. How do you get back out of the hole? That's the goal. So the first thing is there's 3 steps that are here that we're going to walk through, okay? What's the very first thing you have to do if you want to experience freedom in your life? Any ideas?
Identify the area.
You got to figure out if you're actually where you're at, right? If you don't think you're in bondage, then what good is it on any of this, right? You have to know there's a problem and identify the problem before you can find a solution. And some people can't get past that. There are a lot of people who know that they're not really living the way that they want to live or the way that God has called them to live. They're not really experiencing freedom. They're not really experiencing life that God has promised. They're for an acceptable level of discontent. So they're not, but they don't really want to go through the pain necessary to take an honest look at themselves and identify where things are off track and what's causing this problem and this disconnect. And usually that's because they're still kind of hoping they can manage that part of their life and their lifestyle so that they don't have to change. And that is a constant struggle that we always have, is trying to manage our lives and only giving up and only changing the things in our lives, only giving up those things to God when they get to a certain point and God kind of pries our hands open and yanks it out. We need to get to the point where we see that there's a problem and we willingly give it to God. That's a sign of spiritual maturity. Unfortunately, at the beginning stages of a relationship with God, It's usually the opposite. We've got our hands as tight as they could possibly be, and God is having to pry open your hands every couple of and say, "Give it to me." And we're like, "No, no, 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 this doesn't hurt yet." No, eventually it's gonna hurt. It hurts really bad when you hold on tight. It hurts really bad when God has to pry your hands open. Okay, just Corey Tim said, "Whatever you hold, whatever you treasure, hold it loosely so it doesn't hurt when God has to pry open your hand to take it." Because God wants everything. In order to have a relationship with God, Luke 14:33, Jesus, "If you forsake everything you have, you cannot be a disciple." And so we're saying we give God everything, but then sometimes we think, well, okay, yes, I want to give God everything, just not this, because I can manage this. This doesn't hurt. This is a good thing, or this isn't a bad thing. It's usually more of a, this isn't that bad. And we go back to what's right with it, what's wrong with it. Is it helping me to get closer to God, or is it drawing me away from God? Because you can only ever be one of two things. There is no middle ground. There is no gray zone where you can hang out and hope for the best. So the first thing you do is identify the areas of bondage in your life. Get out of that mindset of denial, that mindset of being able to manage your life and be able to manage the problems in your life. Stop settling, stop resigning yourself to an acceptable level of discontent, and know that you want freedom. And if you want freedom, the first thing you got to do is look where you're not free, and that's okay. Remember what I said at the beginning: it's okay to be okay. It's not okay to stay that way. This is where you're going to get hung up on that, because sometimes it hurts. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes it hurts to look at where we're believing lies. Sometimes it hurts to look at and be honest and real with where we're in bondage. But that's okay, because when you finally come to that point, and that brokenness and that darkness, then you open yourself up to God's power to come in and fix it all and change it all, transform it all, so that you can experience that love and that hope and that freedom. And that's the goal. But until you open yourself up to God to you, it's not going to do any good to do any of this stuff. Because the goal here is, what do I need to do to experience freedom? That means, okay, then there's going to be some pain. There's a healing factor here where things get worse before they get better, and that's okay. And no matter how painful it may be, truthful with yourself, it's never going to do anything that you are honest with God about. Never going to make him run away. It's never going to make him change his love for you. And then we get these lies. You know why we don't identify the bondage or be honest about what's really going on? We're afraid of what God or other people are going to say or think about us. But those are lies. Sometimes the biggest lie you have to get over is the lie that God is going to forget us or ignore us or punish us to extreme, horrible, our lives if we're honest about what we're struggling about. And it's true. It's a lie. A lie. Okay? So we got to identify the bondage. And this is important. The bondage, not the lie. Why do you start with identifying the bondage and not identifying the lie? Any ideas?
I don't always know what the lie is.
Yeah. It's hard to identify the lies. We don't usually know what they are. We usually know what the end result is. If we knew what the lie was, we probably wouldn't have gotten to the bondage part, right? Because deception blinds us, and we're completely oblivious, and then we end up in trouble. And so we don't necessarily try to figure out, well, what lies am I believing? We start with the end. Let's work our way backwards, okay? Where's the result? What's the result here? Where am I in bondage? How am I feeling? How am I acting? That's right. That's killing me. Now, for some people, it's related to eating habits. Some people, emotional problems. Where's the bondage? And then we work our way backwards. Okay? And we don't stop. We need to talk a little bit about this diagram a couple of times. Now we're going to get to the first time, and we're going to see how it's really fun. I should have probably written that ahead because there's a lot of words here. Let's see. And I usually end up going up or down, so I'll expect correction here. sort of stimuli. Okay, this is this section right here. This stimuli. This is what you cannot control. Life that you cannot control. Right? This is what we're going to eventually get back to. We're going to primarily focus on this center section here. All right? Thoughts, emotions, actions. This T right here. Thoughts, emotions, actions. I'm going to walk through this, and I'm going to explain it forwards. You ready?
Ready.
Ready. All right. Your character is who you are, right?
Okay.
Character is who you are as a person. It's your values, morals, and ethics. It's how you make decisions, why you make decisions, and the decisions that you make. It's usually where we notice the problem. There's a defect in my character because I am in bondage here and I can't figure out how to get out of it, right? So we look at where does this come from? This T part, because I'm working backwards, I'm going to skip and come back to. But we see the defect in the character through the actions, right? It's what we do. How do I know there's a problem in character? What's the problem with my actions? Where do the actions come from? Why do we do what we do? Remember what we said?
Thank you.
You listen, dwell, believe, and act. And so, where do the wrong actions come from?
Believe.
They come from the wrong beliefs. But there's this middle section here of emotions. And that's where things get tricky, right? You know, a lot of people act on how they feel. Live by how they feel. Every decision is based on how they feel. Most people have life-dominating problems. It's because of emotion. Learning from a young age to act on how you feel sets yourself up for failure in a lot of different areas, but particularly when it comes to things like addictions. So we have to at the beginning get messed up because a lot of people think that this is where it starts. This is where it starts. It starts with how I feel. But your emotions can be dramatically impacted by what you think about. Your beliefs. Your thoughts are what ultimately fuel your emotions. Your thoughts have the power to override your emotions and to eventually change how you feel. If your thoughts are obedient to Christ, that's the goal. We take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. And so this has to do with beliefs. This isn't just the power of positive thinking. This is believing God or believing me. Believing God or believing how I feel. Believing God or believing what people around you are saying. Believing God or. And so it comes back to what you think about. And your thoughts have the power to help you to do right or to do wrong. What you believe. Believing the truth or believing the lie. If you're going to believe the truth, then believing the truth is understanding that my emotions don't have to control how I act. I may have let them control how I act previously, but God made your will, which is how you control your thoughts with your will. Side note, 3 parts of a person: intellect, emotions, and will. And God made your will to be stronger than your intellect and your emotions. You know what that means? God will to be stronger than your emotions means that you can act on what is true in spite of how you feel, because your thoughts come before your emotions. Okay? With regard to any command in the Word of God, it is never a command that is given to your intellect. And what I mean by that is, the Bible doesn't say, do this if it makes sense to you. I've never read that in the scriptures. So God doesn't give us commands for intellect. And he doesn't give commands for our emotions. He doesn't say, do this if it feels good. That's back to the times when he says, do this even though So what is he directing his commands to? What's the third part? Our will. So when God gives us commands in the Word of God, it is always directed to our will, which means our will has the power to overcome our emotions and sometimes even overcome our intellect in order to think, believe, and dwell in the truth so we can overcome how we feel, act rightly, and then this right here is a reinforcement thing, okay? Now, I know this is confusing. We're going to do, on Thursday, I'm going to put this up, and we're going to take that first lie and we're going to draw it out on how this looks. It's going to make a little bit more sense. When you act, look, what you think about is your response to your circumstances, okay? Your circumstances are going to constantly change and they're out of your control. So something bad happens, you lose your job. Okay? You control how you think about that. You can think, I'm never going to find another job. You can think, it's so unfair. How could this happen? How could God let this happen? If God loved me, why did he let me lose my job? You can think all kinds of negative things. I mean, there's no end to that. We've talked about it. There's no end to the loss. Right? But if you're thinking along those lines, how are you going to begin to feel? Not good. Bad. And then when you feel bad, how do you act? Badly? Sinfully? It is always a result of believing a lie. Okay? So we act sinfully. Now, our sinful actions, this T part, reinforce our negative thoughts. To do this, if I hadn't lost my job, and then the justification starts, and now our sinful behavior is being reinforced by how we think, and how we think is being reinforced by our sinful behavior, and we get stuck in this cycle until that's what your character is. Your character is when anything in your life is out of your control, you act out sinfully, either against yourself or against others or against God. Ultimately, it's always against God. But you blame God. Did you mean to become that person? No. How did it happen? You were believing a lie. You were believing that God failed you, that you couldn't trust God. And then it quickly becomes a pattern in your life, and you end up in bondage. So now you're enslaved to your circumstances. And so when circumstances are good, you feel good. When circumstances are bad, you feel bad. And your life is nothing more than a series of how you cope when you're down. Whether it's addictions or dangerous and destructive relationships or overeating or whatever the issues are that you need to cope with your negative circumstances, a secondary area of bondage in your life. And all of that always comes back to what you think about. The alternative here would be to say, I lost my job, but God can provide for me. God is good. God loves me, and I'm going to wait and see what he does next. That's a direct contrast, isn't it? This is about me. When I'm thinking of the other stuff, that's about me. That's about how I feel and what I want, what I wish it happened. The alternative here is to think about God, who he is, how he works, what he's done for you before, and what he promises to do for you. And when I focus on God, inevitably my emotions will eventually catch up. It doesn't always happen immediately, because our emotions sometimes take a while to get in line. But we're not acting on how we feel. We're acting on what's true, which is who God is and his character. So we can be faithful to God and obedient to God and not be derailed when something happens to us. And then that reinforces our obedience and our faithfulness as God's grace helps us to do the right thing and not take matters into our own hands or not go seek relief in another person or a substance. And that reinforces our belief that God is good and that God loves us and God's going to take care of us. And we have a positive cycle that's happening now. And then your character can be defined as somebody who, even when life seems to be difficult and there are things that happen out of their control, they are still at peace, and they're still faithful to God, and they have good relationships, and they seem to be okay. And it doesn't make any sense, but that's what it is. And how does that happen? Because you believe the truth. You believe in God. And that's the contrast. So when we look at these different lies, we're gonna use this diagram for every lie that we look at. And we're gonna look at how believing a lie plays out, and then we're gonna look at, okay, if this is the lie, here's the truth, here's how to move forward. So you need to getting really familiar with this process because we're going to use it a lot. And the reason that we started this whole thing for the last however long I've been talking about it is because we start at the end because we don't usually know what the thoughts are. That's the problem. We skip over that to emotions and actions. And so we start, when we're identifying the problem, we got to start back here and we say, okay, well, if I'm acting this way, I need to figure out where it's coming from.
Because some people don't think before they act. Some people act before once they act, they stop. They start thinking, they still come back, then they apologize. They actually go, like it's something, they lose their job, and before they think, they slam the doors, I don't always.
And you know, that's how a lot of people, I mean, there's major patterns in life where a lot of people do that and they totally back up, and then after they apologize. It doesn't do any good to apologize if you don't figure out where things are wrong and make it right.
Right.
So that's our goal here, right? So we are doing this where we look at where is this coming from. If you only try to stop the actions from happening, what's going to happen? Nothing. You're going to keep doing it because your actions aren't sitting on they're filled by your emotions and your thoughts. You've got to get to where this is actually coming from, and that's the words there. In the reading sheet, actually, is the example of picking all the berries off the bush. What's going to happen if you pick all the berries off the bush? They're going to grow back. There's going to be more.
Right.
If you wanted to produce different, you've got to dig up the bush and plant a different one in its place. Okay? Now, that's transformation. Reformation, picking all the berries off the bush.
Right.
Transformation is when God comes and pulls it out of the root and puts something in its place. Does that hurt a little bit? But you get the good fruit. We want that, right? We want to get this out of the root, and we want to experience transformation and permanent change so we experience freedom. So we gotta let God tear out that root. Being real with what we're believing, what we're thinking about. Identifying the right root, something God has to do for you, and it can be a challenge. It's not easy to identify the lie. It takes a lot of practice. Okay, and I want to give you some things here about this. All right, one is having Christian counselors, teachers, and mentors in your life is crucial because there are many times when you try to identify the bondage, but you can't figure out the lie because you're in it. That's okay. If you have somebody else in your life who you can trust, who you can look, this is what's happening. I don't know why you keep doing this. Can you help me figure this out? And somebody else can step into or remote from the situation and help you to identify that lie. Other times, it's pretty obvious to you. You know what the lie is. You've just been trying to act like you don't. And God has already dealt with you about it. It's just a matter of finally doing something about it. Sometimes you can use one of the tools is the notebook. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. Seems like I did. Where you can carry a notebook piece of paper around with you, and when you start catching yourself doing something, especially for emotional outbursts, if you have a particular bondage in that area, write down what's running through your head when you're feeling that way, and it'll show you what you're thinking about. And then you say, oh, you look back later and you're like, wow, I wrote that, I said that, I thought that. Oh my goodness, it's really bad. I never would have said that, but you thought it, and eventually it's going to come out. So you got to catch it at the source there. Okay. This is going to take some time. It's going to take some time to figure out where the root is. It's going to take some time to figure out the lie is. But you know what lie is now, you got to do something about it. You got to do something about it. Doesn't do any good to know the problem. And now we have to replace it with the truth. Oh, also side for this that I forgot to mention is there's different lies that are going to be the source of your problem, your bondage, but there's also those three roots of sin that all of those lies tie back into. And I think I mentioned before. So you guys remember? Do you remember that? Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride. Lust of the flesh is the first one. Lust of the flesh is when you make decisions based on how you feel. And any sin that is connected to feelings, emotions, that category. So lust of the flesh includes everything from overeating to immoral self-control, self-discipline. So if your lie is tied into not getting away or being painful and the emotional kind of lie, then if you trace it even deeper, it comes back to lust of the flesh. And so the solution is going to be found in self-discipline, self-control, and so rather than acting on how I feel, I'm going to act on what is right. Self-discipline often is the starting point with that is just learning to tell yourself no. Doing the right thing at the right time regardless of how you feel. Lust of the eyes has to do with materialism, needing things to look a certain way, needing to have a lot of pretty things. The opposite of that would be gratitude. And then pride takes a lot of different forms. The arrogance and all of the stuff that comes along with that. But it also is exhibited with insecurity. And so you get kind of two ends of the spectrum here. And the opposite of pride is humility. And the way that we experience humility is through humiliation. It's not something that other people can do to us exactly. I mean, you can't say, look, that person has a pride problem. I'm going to humiliate her and I'm going to teach her to be humble. No. God has to do it. But God will humble us and he will cause us to go through some humiliation, some of it public, some of it private, but that's how he overcomes our pride. And we have to welcome that and understand that. The goal here is that we're changing natures. We're going from having a sinful nature to having a holy and righteous nature. Now, let me ask you a question. How do you change the nature of a pig? What happens if you take the pig home and you clean it up, you put a bow on it? Is it stay clean and pretty? What's it gonna do? You take it home, you wash it off, and you clean him up again. His nature, right? He's drawn to the filth. Well, you know what? Before we get right with God, drawn to the filth. We can't seem to stop. It's in our nature. We keep going back. We keep going back. We keep going back. So how do you change the nature of a pig?
You make him bacon.
And how do you make him bacon? Kill it. Kill it. So what has to happen to our sin nature?
It has to die.
It has to be killed. We have to die to our flesh and die to ourselves. And then we can experience a transformation where now we have a whole different nature, a whole different purpose, a whole different identity. We're no longer a pig that wallows in mud. We're bacon for eating. Hey, it works. Anyway, so then we replace the lie with the truth. So, get help identifying the lie. You're going to probably need help with this for a while. You get more established relationship with God. That is okay. The only thing powerful enough to set you free is God's truth. We establish the fact that we can't save ourselves. We don't have the discipline necessary to say no to ourselves. God has to help us with that. And so in order to be able to experience freedom, this has to be something that God does. He does it through truth. And when we went through this, and I just kind of went this quick walk through here, one thing that's really important here is that sometimes there's this idea that I know the truth. I know Jesus died on the cross. So when I talk about believing the truth, a lot of people think, well, I know Jesus died on the cross. I know that, and they list these general truths. Jesus on the cross. Jesus was perfect. God created the world. They list these general biblical truths, and they say, so now I'm believing the truth. What we're talking about here is simply different. We're talking about here specific truth for specific lies. You have a problem in a emotional anxiety area of your life where you're just anxiety and fear. Then how is God created the world going to help you in that moment? Is it true? Yes. Does that apply to your struggle? No. But there is truth that does. So maybe a passage in Isaiah that says you keep perfect peace in whose mind is fixed on you. Or maybe Philippians 4 says, don't be anxious about anything, but instead pray about everything. So there's specific truth for specific problems. And that's what we have to get to. And you may not always know what the specific truth is for these specific lies, but that's why I'm here. Pam's here. That's why we have classes. That's why we have such, because you're going to need to learn these truths so that when you're struggling, you're able to figure out the specific truth for the specific lie that you're struggling. Because it's not going to do any good to know the general truth, the specific truth. Some people even say, look, I know that this, that, or the other, and that, you know, that they brag about all these truths and all this awesome obedient life that comes to their homes, and they have this great peace, and they have all this stuff. Their spending is completely out of control. But hey, it's okay because I have this truth and I'm doing well in this area of my life. It's not like that. It's going to be specific truth for specific problems. And the Holy Spirit's job is to help you to not only identify the area of bondage and that lie, but also to help you to identify the truth. So you've got to be committed to the truth. That's what you come back to, right? And not just general truth, but specific truth. So once you do this, once you get the steps where you say, okay, well, I know there's this area of bondage, that's the easy part. I want you to, you know, where do you think this lie is coming from? If you can't tell a specific lie, can you at least tell which of the three roots of sin is coming from? Because that's a starting point. And then I want you two ladies in particular to come to me in the next couple of days to tell me what you wrote down for these things so that I can help you to identify the truth. Because you may or may not be able to do that. I want to help you do that. Okay? That truth, there's something else you have to do that's not necessarily listed in here. Remember the 4 steps into bondage? Of listening, dwelling, believing, and acting. Okay? We're going to apply that same formula to the truth. You want to be overcoming that area of that bondage and those lies. You need to do the same thing with the truth that you did with the lies. You got to listen to the truth. How do you listen to the truth? Memorizing scriptures that apply to your area of struggle, right? Listening to music that encourages you in that. There are so many Christian songs.
Yeah,
Talk to people who are trusted, people with their relationship established that can help you. The sermons and the class, all the things are ways to listen to the truth. It's going to help you to develop that truth. It gets stuck in your head. And once you get stuck in your head, you tell yourself that truth enough. So you're going to begin to believe it, and then you're going to begin to act on it. That's the goal, right? So we've got to have a plan in place that I'm not just going to know this general truth out here. Now I'm going to memorize this verse about it. Now I'm going to start singing this song about it, and I'm going to keep thinking about it, and then I'm going to do something about it. And that's our goal. And it's so important that you have an action plan for moving forward in this area. Once you identify the area of bondage, you've got to have a plan to move forward to overcome this area of bondage. Otherwise, you're just going to stay there. Create a plan. It's plan to fail. Heard that before? It's a very true thing. If you don't make a plan, then you're going to wait until you're in the middle of your temptation to decide what to do. And once you're in the middle of the temptation, you're already dwelling on those lies. And so it's too late. So you got to have a plan. That plan starts with listening and dwelling on the truth to the point that there's no room for lies to get in. That's the goal. So that is your homework until I give you homework for Thursday. To identify as far as you can where the bondage is, what areas in your life you need to work on. And let's start with an action plan with truth. And then as we start working through these lies starting on Thursday, you're seeing how these things all kind of start to tie together in your life. And that's so. Any questions about anything? Okay. So you've got the 3 steps for bondage, which is to identify the lie, identify the area of bondage. Number 2 is identify the lie, the root. And then 3 is replace the lie with the truth. Okay? Also make sure you understand a specific truth, specific lies, not general truth. And you have to have a plan. So failure to plan, planning to fail.
Three.
That's what's in the workbook that you already have.
Oh, okay.
It's those 3 steps.
Okay.
You probably just like circle them or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's it. I suppose we can pray. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I pray that you would help each and every here to be able to identify where things have gotten off track and the area of bondage lives, and be able to trace it back to the lies they've been believing, that you would begin to give them insight into your truth and your love, your goodness, your power to be able to set them free, and that you'd help them be excited about what you're doing in their lives, and that they would pursue your truth, to dwell on your truth, and to pursue you so that they can truly